Well, this latest winter storm just hammering the inland northwest today, dropping several inches of snow or more across the entire region. Conditions so bad that all of the major Cascade passes are closed.
In fact, Snoqualmie Pass closed through Friday due to falling trees and avalanche dangers. Also, several school districts and universities started late today or classes were canceled altogether. And we now learn that Spokane Public Schools will have another 2-hour delay tomorrow morning. And now as temperatures drop tonight, many areas are experiencing those slick roads. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
It's good to have you here. I'm Whitney Ward. So all that snowfall that we had throughout the night and today has now led to some very messy roads. Crews are now working very hard to plow every single road in the city of Spokane.
The city launched that full city plow earlier today. KREM 2's Ian Smay has been out on the roads all day today and joins us live with more on the conditions that we're seeing at this hour. Ian?
We're here at Washington and Mission, and let me tell you, it is starting to get slick. We actually saw a truck unable to make it up the road here just earlier today, and the freezing rain started coming down a few hours ago, and it has made the roads real slick as it started to freeze on top of the road. And this has made for a very treacherous evening commute, even after cars were getting stuck earlier today in the snow. And crews have started a city plow, as you said, and that some side streets are still packed with snow as the plows have not made it to them yet. Now, this has been some of the highest snow totals we've seen so far this season, and some of the accumulation from previous storms hadn't melted yet. A full city plow means that crews will work around the clock until all streets in Spokane have been plowed, and some tall berms have been formed due to the plows, but the city says it's a hard problem to prevent.
We run out of room to put it places, right? Just like we do in our own yards. So that's always going to be, somewhat of a challenge, but our crews work really hard to try to minimize that as much as possible. But again, everybody has to exercise caution, drive for conditions, be safe.
The city is also urging people to give plows some space, such as staying 50 feet behind a plow when you're driving. Also, you should never pass a plow on the right and try to avoid passing them at all on the left. And as you can see right here with our shot, it is starting to get slick. Ice is starting to form on top of the roadways. And we spoke to a man who was walking around the city earlier today about how he feels the snow clearing efforts have gone. We'll have more for you coming up tonight in our 6 o'clock broadcast. But right now, we're gonna go over to Kyle Simchuk, who is in North Idaho monitoring the roads. Kyle?
Well, a lot of neighborhoods in Coeur d'Alene are still waiting to see a snowplow. A lot of snow still on the road. Take a look at this, about several inches. So if you don't have four-wheel drive, you really got to be careful not to get stuck, even on some of these flat residential streets. We talked to one woman who said the roads in her neighborhood were fine when she got up. Then about 4 hours later, it was a completely different story. She's been trying to keep up with the snow falling on the sidewalk outside her home using a big shovel designed to clear snow off of roofs.
Yeah, it's fun.
I plowed it this morning, this and that, and then by the time I was done, it was pretty much right back where it was. Yeah.
Now, I-90 is in pretty good shape, but look what happened earlier this afternoon. A semi crashed about 10 miles east of Coeur d'Alene, and that shut down westbound lanes earlier. And with more snow in the afternoon forecast, North Idaho College decided to close its campuses early at 2 today. The Coeur d'Alene School District ran on a normal schedule. Even with all this snow, there was no 2-hour delay. Now, local fire departments are reminding people, if you have a fire hydrant in your neighborhood in front of your house, make sure you keep it clear and visible, because when these snowplows come in, they make a big berm of snow, and that can be really hard to see a fire hydrant if it is in your neighborhood. I'll send it back to you guys.
It's a very good reminder, Kyle. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at Snoqualmie Pass. It is currently closed right now, and it's going to stay closed at least until tomorrow, if not Saturday. White Pass, Stevens Pass, Blewett Pass also closed until Saturday. According to WashDOT right now, the extreme weather has now created hazardous conditions like falling trees and avalanche danger. Even that is dangerous for the crews just to be up there trying to clear the road. So we will be sure to keep you updated on all of the mountain pass closures and reopenings once they happen right here on KREM 2 and as always on KREM.com.
Well, like we have been seeing all day long, the accumulation from today's storm is really causing trouble for drivers. Add into that freezing rain, it's even worse. Let's get straight to meteorologist Tom Sheridan. Tom, it seems like we're kind of switching from the snow to maybe that freezing rain tonight, right?
And that's a monster concern. And then later tonight and tomorrow, we're going to switch to strong gusty winds, which could lead to power outages as the heavy snow in the trees, it becomes wet and gives way to those very strong gusty winds. And my gosh, look at some of these snow totals. Leavenworth, 33 inches of snow. The snow totals actually get higher as you head west of Spokane. Down in Moscow, Idaho, 8 inches of snow. Post Falls, 7 inches of snow. In Spokane, we've received anywhere between 4 and 8 inches of snow, depending on your location. Out at the airport, where we're taking official measurements, there's at least 11 inches of snow right now on the ground. When we take a look at the watches and warnings, we have a winter weather advisory and a wind advisory in effect down in areas of the central Washington and Idaho, Palouse, and the lower Columbia Basin as we get wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Our winter storm warning will continue until about 8 o'clock tonight for us, with 3 to 4 inches of additional snowfall possible. Right now, as you can see, it has transitioned over to where you see that pink on the Doppler radar imagery. That indicates a sleet or a freezing rain that is falling there. Still snow falling, though, in areas of North Idaho. So tonight we'll look for an overnight low of only 31. Friday, again, rain and a daytime high of 41. Remember, snow acts like a sponge in the beginning, and it soaks up that moisture, and it gets very, very heavy. That's why we're concerned about the tree limbs that are going to be, soaking up all that rain, and then those possible 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That could lead to a lot of breakage. It gets dry and colder over the weekend. What does that mean? It means that the side roads that don't get plowed right now are going to be like concrete. Well, we've got meteorologist Thomas Patrick right now out in the Storm Tracker 2 weather vehicle, and he's on the roads. Thomas, what can you tell us?
Yeah, there, Tom. We've been on I-90. We took that all the way to State Line, and then we've turned around. We're kind of in the valley area heading westbound back towards Spokane. Really no change in the road conditions from the past hour. It has been freezing rain that entire hour. It's 29 degrees. A light rain has been falling constantly. Honestly think that driver is probably going a little bit too fast. We are going to about 35 to 40 miles per hour, so nowhere close to freeway speed. And especially in between these lanes, you might be able to start to see a bit of that slush and ice build up right where there's no traffic, really right on the lane lines. Want to point out a couple things that we've seen here. One, the accident that was I-90 eastbound was a fender bender, so you got to give the car in front of you plenty of space to avoid doing that. And two, the off-ramps look like they haven't been plowed or treated nearly as good as the road themselves. So you don't even want to be going 30 to 40 miles per hour onto some of those off-ramps because they are very snowy and ice covered, and they don't get as much traffic either. And really the reason why this is happening is that we had that 4 to 7 to 8 inches of snow from earlier today that's actually quote unquote refrigerating the air to the point where that rain that's falling right now, well, it's falling into this 29 degree air. So that's why we're getting some freezing rain. And as the traffic lets up after the commute hours, it's only going to get worse so long as our temperatures stay below freezing. So please drive extra carefully. Give everybody else a little bit of extra space for tonight. Live from our mobile storm tracker, and meteorologist Thomas Patrick, back to you in the studio.
All right, Thomas, thank you very much. So the roads pretty much across the board, very, very dangerous. But really, flying somewhere isn't another good option right now. The Spokane International Airport has also seen numerous delays and cancellations. Many departing flights to places like Seattle, Portland, Denver, even Las Vegas, those have just been delayed or outright canceled.
The airport is also seeing several arriving flights from some of those same cities delayed and canceled as well. Now, if you do have a flight tonight or tomorrow, the airport recommends checking with your airline before leaving home and allowing yourself plenty of time just to get to the airport. Good luck with your travel. Well, the heavy snow forced one of the community COVID-19 testing sites at the Spokane Falls Community College to shut down today. Discovery Health, who runs the site, says that one of the center beams of the drive-through structure collapsed today under the weight of the snow, making it unsafe to use. That meant canceling hundreds of appointments, so in the short term, staff from there will move to the other testing site at the Spokane County Fair and Expo Center in the Valley to help with the increased volume that they are expecting.
We'll certainly keep an eye on that and let you know if there are any changes. But our other big story today, this morning, Caleb Sharp, the accused Freeman High School shooter, pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including first-degree murder.
Sharp was 15 years old when he walked into the high school and opened fire, killing one student, Sam Strahan, and injuring 3 others. It happened in the fall of 2017. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley was following this story from the very start. She shares what happened in court today. Amanda?
Well, this is a huge step in the Freeman school shooting case. This morning, we expected the judge would hear arguments on moving the trial out of Spokane County and even delaying the trial again. But to our surprise, Caleb Sharp agreed to a plea deal and admitted his guilt. Now, we do want to be transparent with our viewers that today we are showing the shooter's face from the hearing today, and this is due to the seriousness of the crime and because he is now an adult.
One hit in the back, one in the arm.
You can't erase the trauma.
You just have one shooter.
But you can try to move forward and find some peace.
I heard the gunshot and saw people running and screaming.
On September 13th, 2017, 15-year-old Caleb Sharp walked into Freeman High School with a duffel bag full of guns. He shot and killed one student and injured 3 others.
Mom, we're on lockdown. There's somebody with a gun, and please. She's like, I'm scared. We're in lockdown, and I just dropped the phone and just came here as quick as I could.
This is the memory the Freeman community has waited 4 years to move forward from. The trial was delayed multiple times. In fact, the last class of students who witnessed the trauma of that day graduated from high school without the suspect being held accountable.
The families obviously are not happy about the delay.
All that waiting is now coming to an end. Today, the suspect agreed to plead guilty to premeditated first-degree murder, 3 counts of attempted murder, and second-degree assault.
What is your plea, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
When the judge accepted the plea of guilt, he read the initials of all the victims, including the 48 listed under the assault charge.
The defendant, Caleb Sharp, in the state of Washington, on or about September 13, 2017, did intentionally assault SNB and CAO and CGC and DJL and KNS. Sure, the court would accept your plea today and would find you guilty as charged.
In a statement from the Freeman School District today, Superintendent Randy Russell said they are relieved the case is settled and that the plea agreement closes this chapter of the tragedy and avoids having to experience the trauma all over again. Now, the Freeman school shooter's sentencing will be scheduled following a hearing on January 18th. At the sentencing, Freeman families will be able to share victim impact statements. They will be heard in person or over Zoom to accommodate former students who are no longer in the area. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Amanda, thank you very much. It's been going on for so long and delayed so much. It just kind of seems wild that it's coming to an end so abruptly, right? So quickly.
So surreal.
My goodness. All right, well, still ahead tonight. Today marks the 1-year anniversary of the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Coming up after the break, we are reflecting on that historic day.